Okay, now I'm ready to take on the half square triangles. So we're putting together the shiny with the floral. And I am looking for the side of the fabric that has the most shine and pattern to it on the shiny. The floral's easy. So this to me is flatter on this side. So that's what we're going to be working with, is the shiny. The shiniest is the right side. All right, here we go. Okay, let's keep it going. And it is going to be, I think, yeah, it is pretty obvious when you get it right down on top of you. All right. Okay, that one. Yep. Versus, now I have self-doubts. All right. Honestly, I'm not positive there's a, that looks better to me. I'm not positive that there really is a right and a wrong side on this metallic fabric. So in that case, you really can't go wrong. All right, just a sec here. Just a sec. I'm going to do 2 more, and then I'll continue with the rest, and I'll meet you at the sewing area. So hold on one second. Let me do this one, and here we go. This way or this way? I think it's that way. All right. All right, I'll continue on with this journey and meet you back at the sewing area, or at the pressing area. Okay, we're back here at the sewing machine, and I did go ahead and lay out this darker tan fabric. This is a fabric that it's really hard to tell the front from the back, so I needed good light, and I just got it all laid out so that I don't have to even think about it. And this tan and white checkered, it's kind of fun because it's got a little almost an indent pattern to it, so that's always going to be up rather than the back, so that made it easy. All right, so I've got my Sew Straight guide on here, and I'm going to move my needle to the right by 2.50 on this machine. It can be different on each one depending upon where it goes. This is the guide that I use to make sure that I am in the scant 1/4 inch range. You put this underneath the foot, put the needle down through the hole, then you know that's your position. That's how I know that it's 2.5 on this machine. Okay, let's go ahead and get started here. Not using pins because this is a straight shot and there's no seams. So Sometimes I doubt myself, so I've got to look here. I think it's a little bit more pronounced on that side. Okay, well, I'll continue doing this, and I'll catch back up with you when we're ready to put our half square triangles together. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, here we are back at the pressing table, and we're going to do a quick press before we start putting our rows together. Let me get my camera positioned a little bit better here. That's pretty good. Okay, so we're going to start with the half square triangles. Open them up, and I'm going to press them towards the actual cotton material because I'm using some cotton and then something that not cotton. It's a shimmer fabric. Probably rayon would be my guess. All right, here we go. Just making sure I got a good press. I like to go over it twice, make sure it's as flat as possible. Over the years, I found pressing to be one of the most important parts for the outcome of your project. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and press our little pieces together here. And I'm pressing to the checkered material. Doesn't really matter. You just want to make sure that you're pressing it all the same way. All right, there's one. I already did most of them ahead of time, but two. I do want to go back and do the fronts. This material is easy to fold over, and then I won't get the right size of rectangle if I let it fold over. That would be a bad thing. So let's go ahead and go back here and do that. Okay. That's a good press. Let's see, let's just kind of look at them. We can tell if they're good press or not. That's a good press. That's a good press. Use a little bit of work there. That's good. All right, so now I think we're ready to go back to the sewing machine and put our rows together. I'll see you right over there. Okay, so now I'm going to pin together the middle row of our block. So it's the, what is it, 3.5, I think, by 3.5 inch square with the two rectangles on either side. The checker goes next to the rectangle with the little bit darker fabric on the outside. Okay. We've got this. I am using pins, although it's not a very long, oh, I'm talking and not thinking. Although it's not a very long distance, I do really want to make sure my edges line up. And there's 4 of these because we're making 4 blocks. Okay. Okay. Sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's not. Last one. Okay, let me get the sewing machine set up with the needle in the right position. I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my Sew Straight guide here. This is actually my Sew Straight guide. This is the tool that I'm going to use to make sure that my needle is in the right position. So it's my scant 1/4 inch seam guide. So let's put it there. I have it butted up against this. I'm going to put the foot down, and then I'm going to move. Sorry, my finger is in the way here. Come on. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, I didn't want my finger to be in your way. I had to take it to 7.5 to the right in order to get it in the correct position. So, all right, let's go ahead and sew our center row together here. Let's go ahead and put that down, put the foot down, and here we go. I'm going to slow that down just a little bit. All right, now we're going to take these pins out and turn this around and do the other side. All right, I'm going to keep them daisy chained. That's the way I, oh, maybe not. Here we go. Okay, now let's go ahead and do this. There we go. Foot down. Here we go. Okay, so now we have our center row done. I'm not going to do anything with this right now. I'm going to wait till we get to have the other rows done, and we'll do all the pressing at one time. So we'll just get these out of our way. So let's cut them apart. 1, 2, 1, 2, and 1, 2. Okay, so let me just put these up on the pressing table, and now we're going to come to the rest of ours. So we're going to do rows. The top row, we're going to have the floral out on the, what I'll call the wings, the upper side. And then the checker is always going to be on the bottom with the dark on the top. So this is how we want the row to look right here. Whoops, you can't really see it very good there. So it's going to have this one, and then that one. Okay, so now I'm going to start putting these together, and just exactly like I did the others, we're going to use one pin, I think, here in the center to make sure that I have it centered properly. And there's 4 of these per block, and we're doing 4 blocks. So that means there's going to be, what is that, 16? Oh, that's the wrong one. See, when I talk, I get distracted. All right, here we go. Got that. Gonna pin this. Okay. Because the top and the bottom row are exactly the same, just facing the opposite way. All right, I think you get the gist. Give me a couple minutes here. I'll pin the rest, and then we'll be back to sewing. Okay, we're ready to get sewing. I'm going to try to reduce my hand for you. Okay, let's do it. Okay, I did only put 1 pin in this time, right on the seam, so I just want to make sure I'm getting it started properly. That's good. I don't like the way it's feeling right there, so we're just going to stop and cut that out of the pack and start over here. Yeah. All right. And our last one, well, actually not the last one, we have the other side to do still. Okay, I'll finish doing the other seam on this, then we'll go to the pressing table, and then we'll start putting the block together. Okay, now we're at the pressing table, and this is the top and the bottom row. And so we are going to be pressing these to the inside, okay? And as always, we want to be really careful when we're pressing, trying to get the best press job that we can so that the block looks really good. So now we're going to go to the front. And just make sure there's no little extra tucks. Sometimes your fabric will fold in there. All right, so there's one. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Try not to mess up your previous press job. Highly recommended. Okay, like that. In. That looks good. Okay. Oops, messed up that one again. Okay. Take a minute to fix whatever you might do. Okay. That one's going in. And this one's going in. There we go. Okay. Two more. I think the press job is equally as important as the straight seams. Early on, I could do my best straight seam, but at the end of the day, you don't realize how much the press job matters until you're putting together your project. And sometimes that's a little late. Okay, now we've got the 4 middle ones that we're going to do. Here we go. And because we press these to the inside, kind of, there we go. Because we press these to the inside, we're going to press these to the outside so that we'll have seams that, oh, I only did half of one here. Okay, I'll have to go and finish that one up, but we'll do the others while we're here. Okay, so these two are going out because those two went in, which is a pretty easy press on this. There we go. All right, there's one. Two. Three. All right, I'm going to go finish that one that I only did one side to, press it, and then I'll meet you back at the sewing machine and we'll start putting this baby together. Okay, we're getting ready now to go ahead and pin our block together. So this is what we're going to do. We have these two rows that are the same, just going the opposite direction, and our center one. So we're going to take the center, put it like this, and our seams will be pressed in the opposite direction. So you're going to feel with your thumb and forefinger, press that seam together so you got a real good crisp intersection there. And then go over here, do the same thing. All right. Always start your pinning there rather than like at the end, because that's where you want the intersections. You don't have any other intersections on this side or the other side. It's just those two center ones right there. Okay, so we're going to put one at the beginning and one at the end. Sometimes whenever I've got one like this that's kind of wanting to stick up, I will stick a pin in that. It's just irritating when you come to it and it's not wanting to behave, in which case then I don't feel the need to put it at the other end. Okay, and then because I love to be efficient, I am going to go ahead and do the other side of this. So I actually will have my whole block pinned and ready to be sewn. All right, so that's that intersection. And here's this one. You can just feel when you've got a good nest going with those seams. And if you don't, it really shows up. All right. So this one is going the opposite way that I'm going to be sewing. So I am going to put a pin there. And then one at this end right here. That's the start. Okay, that's one down and three to go. Bring this here, bring this here. Now I can see that I've got a little bit of a problem here. Let's see how, when we're pinning it, what it looks like. I just want to make sure I've got a good scant 1/4 inch seam. So let's start with that one. Okay, we're gonna take our seam and get that put together there. And then come over here and same thing. All right. And then let's put one at the beginning. This seam on the other side is going the direction that we're going to be sewing, so I'm not worried about it. This one, however, is laying in the opposite direction, so we're going to give that one a little pin. Okay, so let's see here. When I'm sewing, yeah, see, it looked worse than it was because that is within my scant 1/4 inch seam allowance, so I'm fine. Okay, let's do the other side. And we've got that nest going. All right, then I'm going to pin that seam down again. All right, let me put these other two together because that's 2 out of 4, and then we'll be ready to sew. I'll be right back. Okay. All right, now we're ready to sew. Let's go ahead and put our foot down. Because I did not put a pin at the end, I want to make sure that is straight. All right, there's one side of this block. Let's go to the next side. Let's take a look real quick here. Yeah, love the intersections. That looks super good. Okay, let's go here. Make sure this is straight. Okay, 1 of 4 blocks is sewn. And there it is. Looks great. All right, let's go to the next one. Here we go. Foot down. Take those pins out. Check that. Like the intersection, looks good. The reason I'm checking right now is if I didn't like it, I would actually pick that out and just do it over right now. Sure this is straight. There we go. Okay, here's number 2. And love the intersection. Okay, here's 3. pretty straight. There we go. That looks great. This is the one that was a little short on the seam when we were piecing or pinning it together. That looks good. And I cleared that by a large margin. Okay. Yes, I love it. Last one. Okay, let me make sure that's straight. There it is. Okay. That looks great. Make sure it's straight. Yep, it is. And voila! Yes. All right, I'll see you back over at the pressing table. Okay, so here I am at the pressing table, and I wanted to show you how we're going to be sewing these together because it's 4 of the Churn-Dash blocks, and we're going to sew these 2 together, and then these 4 together. So for pressing purposes, what we're going to do is we're going to take one side and we're going to press the seams in here on both these, and the other side we're going to press them out so that when we are conjoining these, we have opposite seams going. All right, so I'm just going to start over here. I should have put my iron down for a minute here, let it heat up. But that way it's going to go together much smoother and you won't have any bumps and lumps with the seams on the front of the pillow. All right, let's go ahead. So this one, these seams are going out. Once again, always try not to mess up your beautiful press job that you've already done. And if you're like me, you're going to have to go back and fix some stuff. I try not to, though. I really do. Okay, so now let's go to the front, and we're going to make sure that that press job is really good on the front. All right, we like it. Now, that was to the outside, so we're going to bring this one, and we're going to do that same thing. Okay, to the outside. Sorry, I try not to get my hand in that picture, but it doesn't always work. All right, there we go. Let me turn that around and get that back the way it's supposed to be. Okay. And we're going to come over here, press this real good. I always somehow wear black when I'm quilting. I guess if you want to see everything you have accumulated on you, that is a really good idea. Otherwise, it's a really bad idea. Okay, so let's make sure we've got them going think we're this way is what I think. Oh no, we're this way. We're this way. Okay, so then we're gonna join these two. Oh, okay. So what I want to do is this, because then we're going to, actually I want to do this. We're going to have these seams opposite when we are joining up. No, never mind. I'm confusing myself. I'm going back to my original plan. Here we go. This one here, this one here. Okay, so now we're going to press these to the inside. All right, here we go. Here we go. Right. And make sure when you're doing the front, you're not undoing what you did on the back. Yeah, like that. I could tell when I was pressing that it wasn't down. I didn't get my iron hot enough before I started pressing is what happened. That's okay. Now it's getting hot. Okay, I like that press job pretty good. There's that. And then this one. Okay. And this. All right. Now I'm gonna meet you back at the sewing machine and we'll be pinning these together and putting this pillow together. Okay, I just decided to pin it while I was here. This was actually a better surface to pin on, so we're pinning these two together. Okay, there's 2 out of the 4. And then we're taking these two. One seam is in, one seam is out. And we're going to pin these two together. And because this block does have so many seams in it, there's a lot of things that are coming together here. Making sure that your intersections, once again, I just talk about that till you're tired of hearing it, but it's so important to how the end product looks. All right, there. And there. And here. Okay. So now I'm going to go and do 2 quick seams right there and right here, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Did my seams. Took about 20 seconds maybe. Oh, got a little thread there. But there you can see, I love it. All the intersections look beautiful. Looks awesome. Let's get these pins out. No lumps or bumps. Same song, second verse here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is the same thing that we did before. We're going to be conjoining these two together. So we're going to put one seam one direction and one seam the other direction. And it doesn't really matter. You can look and see, I think I'm going to put this one this way, and that's simply because I'm looking at where the bulk of the seams are, and I think that's going to work better. So I'm going to move this, take this one and just press this in this direction, just like that. And oh, I messed up my press job there and there. Let's redo that. There we go. Just touching up pressing. All right, now we're going to take it to the front. I love it, love it, love it. And this is a very muted, neutral tone palette, but it's going on a very bright blue outdoor sofa. So I don't want it to have a lot of personality. I want it to be nice and calming. All right, so I've pressed this one to my left. We're going to press this one to the right. Here we go. If I was doing a quilt top, I'd be picking out stitches and doing the little envelope at the intersections. But because this is a pillow, I don't want to weaken any of the seams. This is going to have a harder life than a lot of my quilts have, I have a feeling. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead and press that. Now we're going to join these two together. That one is going, here it is, it needs to go that way. That way. Okay, so now we're going to do our final pin job here. And then we're going to go here. And some of these other seams that were less consequential, they weren't meeting up in a lot of places. These are going to go in the same direction. That's fine. It's the ones that you can have a little control over, that you like to make sure, if possible, you don't have that much bulk. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. All right. Okay. Like that. And this is going the same way. Okay, I'm going to go and do one quick seam that will put these 4 blocks together, and I'm going to be right back. All right, here it is. I haven't done the press job yet, but here is the front of this pillow, and I just love it. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to just take the seam and we're just going to press it all the same direction. Once again, I don't want to weaken any of these seams because this pillow is going to have kids and dogs and outdoor activities and pillow fights and, you know, outdoor stuff. All right, now let's put that over and let's do a better press job up here. trying to get everything as flat as possible. Okay, so the piecing part of this project is done. We have 4 9-inch finished size blocks that we put together to make this pillow top. Next, I'm going to get batting and put a backing on this so that we can put some quilting designs on it. And then the final step will be making it into a pillow. So I'll see you for the next phase. Hi everybody. Okay, we are at the embroidery machine now. I've got the batting and the backing on the pillow top that we made. I've got the hoop on, and I've selected the design we're going to do. So this is from the EmbroideLee Churn-Dash collection, and we are going to do this flower in the center of this pillow, and it is, I've got it at 8.52. And then after we get that design done, I think I'm going to put 4 smaller ones of that same design on the pillow top, but I want to get the center design done first to decide the size that I want to do in the 4 corners. So give me a second, let me get set up, and we'll be right back. Okay, so we've got the quilt top or the pillow top done. I put my batting on here and a backing, and we're getting ready to do our markings for our embroidery. So each one of these blocks is 9 inches. I'm going to do a on-point design that's going to end up kind of framing this middle section here. And I've decided to go ahead and use, what is this called? Medium brown. It's Glide Medium Brown 60 weight. And I think that'll be pretty. It won't be too loud, but it'll look nice. And let me get my marking tools and I'll be right back. All right, so as I said already, 4 9-inch blocks. I'm going to be marking the center of each one of these blocks, and I'm using my crosshair square, finding the center of this particular quadrant. And I'm going to be marking vertical and horizontal because I want to line up my design on all 4 of our blocks, and this helps me make sure that as I'm trying to make sure they're coming together at the right place, I know my markings are helping that happen. So I do always double check myself, you know, belt and suspenders. So let's see here. Let's just make sure we've got, there's my stitch line. And yep, 4.5 is right there. All right, and I've already marked this one, and I'm right on that line. So I'm going to do it over here, do it up here, and whoops. We don't really have to do the bottom one because that's not going to matter. All right, so now let's just flip it around so that I can do it easier from here. Okay, 9 inches. It's a little challenging. This crosshair square is so handy, but it is clear and it's got etch marks. So when I'm using light fabric, I have to have special care in making sure I'm using the right line to get it all straight here. Okay, there's my marking. Here I am on that stitch line, and I'm going to double check myself. Again, oh, what do they say in carpentry? Measure twice, cut once. I really subscribe to that with this process too. All you have to do is have it wrong one time, and it makes you a believer. Okay, so now we're going to take that over there. I don't need to do that one, but I did. Okay, here we go. Here's 9 again. Get that on there. Get this straight on that seam. And make sure I'm lined up over here. Let me move to this side now so I can see. Yep, I'm there. And I'm here. And let's double check again. My seam is right there. And 9 and 4.5 is right on. Okay. This also helps me in my hooping process. So, okay, so we've got the whole thing marked now, and I'm ready to get my hoop and get it in there and get the thread on the machine. So I'll see you whenever I've got that ready to go. Okay, I've got it all hooped now, and I'm at the embroidery machine, and I'm showing you on the screen the design that we're going to be putting on here. And the number is CD Churn-Dash-11, and I have it, I chose the 8, which brings it up at 7.75, and I enlarged it to 8.06 because I want it to kind of take up the whole block. So, all right, let's get my camera repositioned here. I've got the needle in the correct position already, and we'll zoom in here a little bit better. Okay, let's go ahead and rock and roll. One thing I did have to do was I did have to use some embroidery tape. I caught it on both ends, well actually not even on both ends. So I put tape along here and attached it to the hoop to kind of stabilize the motion of it. So, all right, let's do it. So there we go. I'll go and get it off the machine and we'll take a look at it. Okay, so here is the first design that we've got. I like the position of it. And now we're going to go ahead and do the one right up top from it. Let's see if I can do this with the camera here. All right, so let's get my hoop where I want it to be. Got that there, that there. We're going to go ahead and put this right down here. Let's see. I get that a little bit more over there. I like that. Let's put this on and see how we're lining up. I like that. Get that kind of pushed over. Okay. I like that. But I am going to go ahead and use that embroidery tape again because I just don't have quite enough captured on the right side here. So let's get some of this. I hate it when I let it, there it is. Okay. Let me see if I can get it going. I like to kind of leave a little extra sticking up, so it, this really likes to stick. All right, here we go. Oh, there we go. All right, here. Let's get a little long run. Might be too long, but that's okay. All right, I like to put it on the edge of the fabric. I am going to attach it down here to the hoop, and then I'm going to take it along the edge. The design doesn't get all the way to the edge, but it gets close, and it kind of pulls. And as careful as I've been with my pressing and the lumps and bumps, you can still see sometimes it hits a intersection. So anything that I can help it not do bumpy is good. All right, I'll see you back at the sewing machine. Okay, here we are now. Let's get the camera set up a little better there. And maybe down a little bit more. There we go. All right, so now we're gonna get this positioned. Ooh, pretty close. Pretty darn close. All right. Let's go ahead and go with that. Put the foot down and let her fly. got caught up. I don't know if you saw that or not, but it got caught up on a seam and it didn't make the little peak quite right. But you know what? It's just for me, so it's okay. All right, let's get back to the table and rehoop again. I'll be right back. Okay, I've rehooped it. It's on the machine. It's in position. And this will be the third design. Okay, it's really coming together. Let's do this last one and then we're going to talk about what we're going to do in the middle. I'll be right back. Okay, back at the machine. I've got the fourth design hooped and the machine lined up, and let's go. go. Let's stop that. Let's get our needle up. And let's see here. I'm gonna cut the camera and see where we're at. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. That is why you never walk away from your machine. I thought I had it in a position that it wouldn't do that, but as you can see, I was wrong. So it involved me just having to go ahead and take the hoop off and the foot, and then I was fine. I literally had 2 stitches that I needed to pull out. The first time that happened to me, I remember being so shocked and so devastated. The second time, I'm like, oh no. And the third time, I'm like, here we go again. And now I'm pretty good at it. I'm not sure that's good to be good at that. Okay, now we are ready to start again. I did reinforce it up here with the embroidery tape. So hopefully that's gonna hold it and make it more stable this time. Oh, I have to lock the frame in. That does help. Okay, now we should be ready. Oh, and now the bobbin's almost empty. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, new bobbin in. I do like to use bobbins that are, you know, from old projects, so my bad. Okay, I'll meet you back at the table and we'll look and see if we're done or not. Okay, so now here is the project. Put it up here so you can kind of see all 4 of the designs now. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That gives me a 5.5 inch in here. And because of the way that I pieced it and put it together, I do have my own little design, and these come in to kind of highlight it. So I can just leave it alone and let it be, which I'm kind of inclined to do with this one because it's pretty the way it is. I don't think it needs any more embellishment. But if I didn't have this design here and I had used this embroidery design, we do have this same pattern, but without the, I'll call them the scallops here, the edging on the side, that you could put right in here. This is 5.5, so if you put it 5.5, it would fill in beautifully because it still has the frame around it. So it would really be very pretty to put in. I don't think I'm going to do that, but If you were inclined, that would be CD Churn-Dash number 14. And, you know, I don't think you can go right or wrong, but in this particular case, for what I want and for how I think this block looks, I'm going to leave it alone. Sometimes less is more. All right, so now we're going to go to the next stage, which is just putting on the backing, and we'll have our pillow done. So I need to change out the embroidery machine, get my sewing machine back, and I'll be back. All right, so we're back. What I've done is trimmed the excess backing that I had back on there. Here's the back side. It's not going to be seen because it's a pillow. And here is the back of the pillow. So I've cut 2 pieces, both 18 by 12. And I'm going to go ahead and just fold this over and stitch a little seam at the top of both of these. Then we will go and sew these on. So let me press out that little seam, and then we'll go to the sewing machine. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken the raw edge of the long side, and I've folded it over twice, 1/4 of an inch each time. So now this is 11.5 inches long, long, 18 inches wide. And I'm just going to stitch a straight stitch right along the edge here. And it's, you know, I'm just keeping it, let me bring that up a little bit here. Oh, I didn't get this, I needed to thread my needle. Let's do that. Okay, now this will work better. Okay. So I'm going to put my foot down, and then for whatever reason my machine is starting up with it in a -2 position to the left. So we're going to bring it back to center here. Oh, it didn't. Okay. Oh, sometimes it all goes right, sometimes it doesn't. So let's try this again. Now it's threaded. Okay, so now we're just going to do a straight stitch here. Let me get the foot pedal, and I've got it in the 0 position. There we go. I mean, if anybody's looking at the back of my pillow, they shouldn't be, right? Okay, that's one. Let's go ahead. Oh, here. Oh, there we go. And do the other one. Looks like it gave up a little bit of its fold here, so I'm going to go back and press it out. Okay, we got the seam back where we wanted it, so let's go ahead and get that started. Alrighty, so now all we're going to do is pin this to the right side of our pillow, And because this design is literally any direction, and so is the pattern of the quilt block, it doesn't matter which way we put this, but we are going to sew it on all four sides. And what we're going to be doing is enveloping the two that we just did. So we're going to put that one there, and then this one like this, and then we're going to sew all the way around, and our pillow will be done. So give me a second to get this pinned, and I will be right back. Okay. So I put the back on and I've got it pinned. I didn't put a lot of pins in it. I did reinforce with pins where the two backs overlap and would be singular underneath and over. I did it at the four corners and then one in the middle. So just to make sure that it doesn't move while I'm going. The other thing that we are doing here is we're going to take a little bit wider seam than we normally do with quilting, because this is a pillow. It's going to get some weight on it. It's going to get thrown around, dogs jumping on it. Who knows? In my house, it could be anything. So let's go ahead and get this puppy finished. I'm just going to keep the edge of my foot at the edge of the project. That way I'll have consistent seams. I am going to do a little reinforcing where this is, the back is overlapping. That'll be a stress point. Okay, I think I'm going to do a little bit of reinforcing at the corner. Let's go ahead and turn it. Well, I could take another stitch or two there. Let's go ahead and put the foot down. Oh, back one. Okay, let's come turn. Yeah, I like that one. Oops, gotta put the foot down. Okay, now I'm going to reinforce here, as it is a corner. Let's bring up the foot. Okay, there we go. I'm going to put the foot back down, and we're going to go ahead. Accidentally cut the thread, didn't want to do that, but that's okay. I don't like the way that's bunching there, so we're going to take that pin out, reinforce. All right, let's turn it. This is, yeah. No, I think I'm good. All right, let's put that there. Now, I'm going to reinforce it there. Those are all stress points when I'm putting the pillow form in and just in general. Okay, reinforce the corner. Let's go ahead and put that down. Guess I can go a little bit farther. All right. Now, okay, guys, let's go to the pressing table. We'll take the pins out and see what it looks like. All right, let's take the pins out here. And let's turn it inside out. It's going to be a little bit bulkier because of the batting and the backing and the embroidery. Because see, I did one pillow without any embroidery and one with. So I'll be able to show you both side by side. I will say that I think it's going to be a little bit more sturdy with the embroidery because it just has more bulk to it, a little more backing. And that fabric that I used was delicate. You know, there's some fabric in there that has some, I'll call shiny metallic thread, if you will. And so, all right. Let me see if I can do my corners a little better than what they are right now. I've got this little tool here to help me with that. Sometimes just a good old pair of scissors will work too. I don't want to do too much damage, but okay. So here it is, guys. Side by side. These are the two pillows, and I like them both. They turned out great. So, but this one I can tell, this one's going to wear better. It just has more bulk. This will be very delicate. I'm not going to let the little kids and dogs have this one. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It was an easy, fast project, but it has great end results. All right. I'll see you next time.